So let's say you have someone approach you. This person makes around 180, um, and they've got $80,000 that they want to invest. And they've had this idea where they're going to buy an investment property on the Jersey Shore. So they're going to have to use a loan, and they have the 80,000 that they can contribute toward it. How would you direct them in the best way to invest this money in real estate on the Jersey Shore?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. And actually, for the investment aspect of that, it kind of opens up a lot of different options for someone looking to do that. You you can get yourself into a condo on the shore, and that could be anything that's a seasonal property and naturally, of course, a year-round property. With $80,000, you could be looking at something where now all of a sudden it's like, all right, well, I can get a one bedroom, I can get a two bedroom unit. You might be able to find a condo that's about three bedrooms. But one of the other scenarios that maybe a lot of folks don't think about, it's become very popular, has been the Airbnbs. And now you kind of get offshore, you can start getting yourself into some single family homes. And like the villas market has become very popular for those type of investment opportunities. And North Cape May is another great area for those type of opportunities. That type of down money, definitely in the villas, you can get in with that type of down money. If it was like an $80,000 that you had to put down, mortgaging out the rest, you could certainly get into the villas, get yourself some good options there, and start doing an Airbnb. Or you could do year-round rentals. Year-round rentals have their own circumstances. So for me, getting into the Airbnb, getting into a seasonal tenant is I'll say a safer bet. Might be a safer play for somebody that's not living down here. If you're coming from North Jersey or Philadelphia, you're not in the area, you don't necessarily want to have somebody that's going to be a year-round tenant where you're not monitoring what's going on with the home. Whereas with seasonal, you can get a property manager, or you can come down even just week to week as they're leaving the property. You can be checking on the home yourself and giving yourself a lot more options there. So that again opens up to single-family homes offshore, but a multitude of investment opportunities right here on the shorelines. And really, any of the towns, you'd be able to find something with that kind of down money. Depends on what the rental history is going to be and what you're looking for. Yep.
Okay. How does that conversation change if you only had 40,000 ready to put down? Are you then very limited? Or?
You're very limited at the 40,000. Now you're going to start to really push yourself down into like efficiencies in single family homes. Unfortunately, with the $40,000 at the shore market where we are here, it's starting to price people out with that much funds, if you will. My recommendation at that point in time, really, instead of just forcing the issue, might be to how long would it take them to save a little bit more money? How much could you get yourself another $10,000 to $20,000 in a shorter period of time, where you can then move yourself up into a property that's going to have a better return on their money. You start getting into having only $20,000. Now you're starting to limit yourself really into seasonal properties, which aren't terrible. The factor behind the seasonal is it's only open during April to October, so you can't get any auxiliary weekends. You can't rent it for Thanksgiving. You're not going to rent it for Christmas week or New Year's, or someone just wants to pop down. You're not going to get these individual weekends where somebody pops in and might be willing to spend $400 or $700 on a weekend, 3-day, 4-day trip in the winter just to spend some time at the shore. You're not going to get those because it's only seasonal, and you're still paying the seasonal HOA fees. So you're actually spending money in the off season and not getting any income coming in. So that would be a real limiting factor at that point in time.
So would you say like the lower liquid down payment that someone has available, the harder it becomes to make the investment make sense?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if you had having that kind of money doesn't knock you out of the game. It's just really going to limit your options there. And I would then go back to, again, maybe trying to find something. We call them stepping stones here at the shore, right? You want to get in the game. So you might be finding something that is an investment that you're only going to hold for about a year to 2 years to get you in the door, hopefully get some equity out of the property. And then actually once you're able to do that, then you can turn around, sell that property there, and then now all of a sudden you have your down money back, whatever you paid down, plus your rental income gives you a larger some to work with to actually then increase for the next property. So you start using them as stepping stones or building blocks to keep moving up in your investment options.
How often do you guys have someone approach you with a scenario like this of somewhere in the range of like 50 to 80,000? They're looking for an investment property. How often is that?
I mean, we have it probably almost every single month. We have someone approaches us with, "What can I do with this kind of money?" And they might just be getting started, and they might say, "This is what I have now. What can I look for?" They see what's available, and they decide, "I'm going to wait. I'm going to save more." Or they're going to try to see if they can pull money from a different area. But that's virtually a conversation that we're having on a monthly basis.
Yeah. And what is the most common advice do you end up telling most? Like, are you getting a lot of people that are just barely under the market, or are you mostly trying to just get people to act and buy?
For most people, it's getting them to act and buy, because you can get paralysis by analysis, where you keep just looking at the numbers. And again, if you go back to the scenario where I said, like, you've used it as a stepping stone, sometimes you just need to pull the trigger on the first property, which, like, let's face it, the hardest thing always is to sign a contract. That's the hardest step. Once you do, you're relieved, you feel happy, you're excited about what you're doing, but it's always the hardest step to take. And the first one is always the hardest. But if you're able to take action and purchase that first property, again, then you can start using that as the stepping stone to vault you towards what you're looking for. Or you might end up holding that one and getting another one because now you're comfortable and there's different investment scenarios at that point in time. But again, get in there, get the first one, and then use that as your stepping stone and start moving you towards the portfolio that you're looking for.